Welcome to the No Budget Indie Filmcast, where we dip into the independent film universe to highlight those little films that you might not have heard about elsewhere. Will you agree with our panel, or will our panel agree with each other? Tune in to find out. I am Milo Dennison, and with me, as always, is Claire Milan
Hello.
and Cathal Feeney.
Hello.
All right, Cathal, what's on the agenda this week?
So on the agenda this week is a film called Nursery Rhymes, written by Tom Noakes, directed by Will Goodfellow, and starring Toby Wallace and Sarah West. So it's an Australian film, I think, and it could probably be described as a mystery and a suspense and a drama all wrapped into one. And I would say at the outset, before you listen any further, watch this film, because I am going to spoil the hell out of it, because it's impossible to talk about this film and getting into the detail. But I will say this, that it's only 5 minutes and it's well worth your while. So we start off, and we have this character who's behind me here, and he's kind of standing naked from the waist up, and he's got kind of a skull tattoo on his belly, and he's reciting this nursery rhyme, "Oh my dog," at a farm, and he's in front of a farm, a field full of cows, and straight away you're wondering, what is going on here? What is he doing? This makes no sense. This whole scene makes no sense. So that's where the mystery is. What's he doing? So then, and he looks guilty. By the way, he looks guilty of something, because he I suppose it's a deliberate choice. He's got skull and crossbones. He looks somehow dangerous, even though he's the nursery rhyme, and his sort of the way he's composing himself. He doesn't look it, but the whole scene is just weird. So anyway, you have this tractor then suddenly appears in the background, coming closer and closer, and the noise gets louder and louder, and then it stops, and this farmer, middle-aged farmer, gets out, and he has a crowbar, and you go, okay, he's coming to attack him. Yeah, this guy is guilty of something, obviously. Whatever he's doing, whatever reason he's there, he's guilty. So the farmer gets closer and closer and closer, jumps over the fence, and then walks right by him, and then you see the scene unfolding, which is actually in Claire's picture there. I'm already going to spoil it. My big build up.
I didn't
Anyway,
write it down here.
So then you see what's happening. It's kind of an accident, and the camera kind of pans around, takes in the accent, and then the whole time this guy is behind. He's still singing, still repeating, "Oh my God, the farm." But you hear it, but you're not paying attention to this anymore. You're looking at the unfolding drama, the horror, the accident, and then the camera pans around, takes in everything. The woman on the phone there, then at the van, the car crash, the dead animal, and then it comes back around again, and then there's this woman holding a child, and then it comes back to the guy with the nursery rhyme, and then you go, and it all makes sense. So it's such a clever film, really. One thing I liked about it, there's lots of things I liked about it. One thing I liked about it was the sound was very good, the audio, because you don't, there's no real dialogue in it. You kind of hear snippets of conversations, but it's all about show and tell, and the the visuals and the sound. What I liked about it as well was the camera angle. It's kind of was filmed POV. When they started searching the accent, it was at ground level. So it was almost like you were part of the scene rather than an observer. So it made it kind of more impactful. Yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's funny because it starts off and he's standing there and he's all skinny, and you're like, okay, he must be on drugs or something, right? So he's clearly like tripping out on drugs, and then exactly when the tractor comes up, and the tractor, and that whole first bit, it's probably like a minute long of just him singing, and you're like, what the fuck? It's like, is this going to be the whole film? And then the slow tractor coming up, and you're like, okay, this is slow, and there's just all this like building up of like, what the heck is going on here? And you're trying, and of course, our brains, the way they work, we're always trying to figure out, okay, is it this? Is it this? Is it this? And and then yeah, when it turns around, you're like, okay, a wreck. And then you're putting the pieces together of like, okay, so they're in a band, so he must be one of the people in the band, and then this and that. And then you get to the little girl, and you're like, oh, this is why he's singing it and stuff. Because then you're like, okay, there was a wreck, so he must be like in shock. That's why he's singing it. And then yeah, it's just absolutely brilliant. And you're right with the sound, the way it kind of works with as the camera comes around and the way he kind of goes off into the distance and you get all the rest of this noise picks up and absolutely really well done.
It was brilliant. Yeah, I thought, okay, this is obviously a mentally deranged guy at the start, and then I saw the tractor coming along and the farmer had this big hook. I thought, oh no, here we go. He's gonna hit your man over the head. So he's approaching him, and here something's gonna happen now. He's something, yeah. And then as the farmer gets close to him, he ignores the man singing, who you think he's going after, and jumps the other side, and it's revealed that it is a crash. But it's interesting watching it a second time because you can see the guy singing at the start glancing over towards the crash. I didn't notice that at the start, but the second time, obviously, he's seeing it and we're not seeing it. It's such an amazing narrative device. This
Yeah.
film, I think it's wow, like I just absolutely was blown away by it. The actual narrative device and how you're trying to put everything together. And then the end, seeing the child and how he's singing to the child. Oh, I just thought it was a terrific, terrific film that really
Yeah.
blew me away. And yeah, I really want to steal this device in another narrative.
I know I'm
I
so
mean,
jealous of the makers of this
I'm
film.
so
Like they're so
jealous.
good.
I'm so
Hmm.
jealous, but yeah, yeah, really amazing.
And it's all one shot. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the cameras
It seems to
just
be.
just pans around like the whole thing.
Yeah.
And they hit
And it's
perfect
slowly
weather
revealed. You don't
too.
know, isn't it? Yeah, because
Yeah.
you don't know if it's a car crash at first, because I think
Hmm.
it shows like obviously it shows a cow,
And
and
worse, it's
then
with
you're thinking,
cow and
oh, yeah, and then it's like, oh, and then he's a heavy metal person, part of a band, it looks like, and just the child just adds a little extra dimension. I thought it was, oh, I've never, yeah, it just stays with you. So clever, so clever.
I was wondering if like they like waited to film it for like the weather to get that kind of cloudy lightning thing in the
Yeah.
background and be like,
I thought
okay,
that was added. I thought that was added in post.
you think
Oh,
so?
maybe.
Well, the
Yeah.
lightning anyway,
Okay.
because it
Okay.
was almost too perfect, There's one flash,
Mm,
like pathetic fallacy, like
okay.
not it's good, not nothing too overt, just like it all
Mm.
added to the scene, to the atmosphere. I thought, okay, yeah, my feeling was it was added in post, and why not?
Yeah, I
And
believe
don't
it.
it's
It wouldn't be
interesting,
difficult to do.
but taking like a nursery rhyme, which is normally a very happy nursery rhyme, and literally changing the whole tone of it, I thought that was interesting. It's like an example of taking anything that can mean how you deliver it, in a different setting can change the narrative completely. I thought that was brilliant. There was
Mhm.
everyone knows that nursery rhyme. Old MacDonald had a farm, and it's
Sing the next bit, Claire. Like sing it how you would
also
normally sing it. I'm just
also old
curious.
MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-E-O.
See,
And on
because
that
he was saying
farm,
E-I-I-I. Did you guys notice that?
Oh,
oh,
I didn't notice that. No,
oh,
no.
Yeah.
Oh,
He was like E-I-I-I,
maybe
and
he
then he
forgot
get
oh,
the words. He
E-I-E-O.
was in
uh,
Who
shock.
said you?
oh, I was trying to like, is that an Australian way of doing it? Or
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
or is it part of the shock aspect? Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
maybe it's one of the numbers that they covered with their band, and had a twist.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
They do a heavy metal
Uh,
version of it.
it's a film that that the experience you get watching it changes after you watch it the first time.
Yeah.
It's a film you watch the first time and that's it. You can watch it again, and you know what? Like watching it again, uh, you study it a bit more. Like you
Yes.
Mhm.
pick up little details,
Mm.
such as I listened to the conversation of the woman on the phone, and she was, oh yeah, okay. And it was so realistic, the whole thing. And then like you saw the people, the three people, the other members of the band, I didn't know they were a band now, but and the person on the ground, and just that little drama there, just between the three of them. You know, because one guy kind of rushing back, trying to make himself busy, and somebody was trying to stem the flow of blood, and the other girl, she was just distraught, you know, and it was just a little sort of drama within a drama. So well done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot going on, and yeah, to get all the timing right and everything, it's really nicely done.
Like it wasn't a low budget, you know, and also you were able to sort of figure out that they must have crashed into the cow. You know? That's what caused the accident. You know, so there was that kind of that was another element of the mystery. You know, what had caused the accident? First of all, you know, I'm thinking, okay, again, going back to my first point, my first sort of thought was this guy looks guilty of something. So maybe thought, okay, they were guilty. They were guilty of like partying, speeding, you know, but maybe still, you know, but obviously the animals on the road contributed.
Yeah, because you could think, okay, maybe it was like a collision between the two cars or something like that. And it was funny too, because when the tractor comes up and then it follows around and then you see the cow and you're like, oh, the tractor must be to lift up the cow. And then it comes into the car and you're like, oh, okay. So it's not even there for the cow at all. Like, yeah, so it's really great. Mm-hmm.
But even the choice to have him as a kind of the singer, like to have him as a metal band, like the look of him, he's so skinny, and his top is off, and his tattoos and his long hair, and then the background, and it's just the cinematography and just the casting of it as well, and the choice of making it a metal band. It's just very interesting.
It shows everybody's essential humanity at the end, like that I suppose in their life that they're, you know, they're maybe, I don't know, against the system and rebellious and so on, but then, you know, faced with something tragic like that, they just revert back to their inner, you know, vulnerable self.
That guy looked damn cold too.
Didn't he? That's what I was thinking. It's obviously an obvious choice to make him look cold, because it makes us feel uncomfortable, like cold as well.
Yeah,
and
cold. Yeah.
you know, yeah.
And even like those two kids on the bikes. It's a nice little
detail.
Yeah, just nice little detail there of like, yeah, they must have been cruising down the road. They saw it and they stopped to look and stuff. Yeah.
Because that's what would happen to be like people, like it was so realistic. Like so realistic.
And also there's an element of voyeurism as well about this film. Even though it's a film that like you are, you know, watching something tragic. Yeah, like as I said, you're not watching a film, but it's that sort of that same sort of draw to watching something. Suddenly, like when you forget that the guy is suddenly singing "Oh My God," like straight away you're drawing into the accent. Oh my God, oh Janie, like, this is terrible. So there is some sort of a voyeuristic element about it as well, I think.
Well, it's accurate, right? Like you accident, there's like probably a couple of people that start helping out and stuff, and then like everybody else just stands around and starts watching, and like, yeah, becomes the voyeurs and be like, okay, well, I don't need to get involved, but I definitely want to watch and see what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's brilliant.
I love Australian stuff. I'm watching a great film now, an Australian series called Boy Swallows Universe. I highly recommend it. It's set in Brisbane. So it's lovely to see an Australian short. So big into them at the moment.
Nice. Well, let's rate it. Claire, you want to go or you want me to go?
Yeah, you go. Come on.
Well, it's probably obvious by my enthusiasm for the film. I've referred to it as brilliant multiple times. So, yeah, top notch across the board. So 5 stars for me.
Yeah. And for me, wow, this really blew me away. I absolutely adore this narrative device. It had me guessing all along, and I just thought it was absolutely terrific. So 5 stars for me.
Well, I don't share your enthusiasm. No, I do actually. Like it's a fantastic film to start the year. I thought absolutely brilliant, multiple levels. So 5 stars for me.
All right, there you go, people. We really enjoyed this film. You absolutely should have already watched it by now because we definitely gave away the ending. So hopefully you also felt it was a 5-star film. If you don't, you can let us know. Leave a comment in the notes below. You can always reach us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at No Budget Show. And with that, we'll say goodbye and see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
But